happens at this breakfast every year, and what's the purpose for it?
Well, breakfast is serving two purposes. One is to thank people who've been helpful to Met Council over the past year, and the second purpose is to advocate for continued support in the coming year. And this year is particularly important because given the economic situation, the budget cuts that are likely to come from federal, state, and city governments are going to be devastating to the people we serve.
The federal government, the state government, the city government, all broke. How are they going to be able to provide the services anywhere close to the levels that we've had in the past?
We understand and expect that there are going to be budget cuts, and we're preparing for them. But we want to try to ameliorate those cuts on the most vulnerable people that we serve. To ameliorate those cuts, we're taking extra special care to try to lessen the impact on the clients we serve. So we're going to make administrative cuts. People on our staff are actually taking pay cuts. Pension contributions will be lessened, and people are going to pay more for health insurance, all to ensure that the social workers, the caseworkers, the job developers, career counselors, and job trainers will not be cut, so they'll be able to continue serving people in need.
Tell us about some of the people you honored here today, what they've helped the Met Council.
Some of the honorees included the Senate Majority Leader John Sampson, who's been an ally and supporter, Congressman Ed Towns, who's always been helpful for many, many years, and he's now a member of leadership in Congress. In addition, we were able to honor the Verizon Foundation. The Verizon Foundation has been enormously helpful in helping us both with our database programs, but most recently with a grant to help us serve people who are victims of domestic violence. And this comes at a particularly important time as many of the funds to serve victims of domestic violence are drying up.
If Hamas put down their guns, there'd be peace. If Israel put down its guns, there'd be genocide. I know what's right in this place. And the Met Council, let me just say this, kindness speaks far more eloquently than words, and because New York is a compassionate city, we really do take better care of those who need some help. City government does, especially even in times when our budget is tight, and we're fortunate to have the Met Council as an effective partner in supporting families and in caring for our sick, and the elderly, and the disabled, and in welcoming immigrants to our city and in building a bright future for our city. And because we've kept New York City the safest big city in the nation and protected and improved our quality of life, today we really are poised for an economic recovery. And even in circumstances that require our belts, partnering with the Met Council has let us taking care of those in need. No question, there's still going to be pressure on our budgets, on the Met Councils, and on the cities. We've been through tough times before, and we know how to stand together, and we will.
Met Council services are ones that not only serve seniors, but they also serve the whole family. Met Council does affordable housing, as they do on 61st Street. They do the information and referral to communities across the city. They provide kosher and other kinds of food. Yes, I will work really, really hard to make sure that the services that Met Council provides, be it information and referral in Jackie's unit, all the way back to the housing that needs to be the social services that keep people in their homes. I personally call Met Council often handyman. That's something that I feel very strongly about. The trucks that actually provide the services, God forbid somebody gets robbed or has a problem in terms of their rails for the bathtub. These are all services that Met Council provides and they're desperately needed. So I will fight absolutely for Met Council social services, UJA social services, and social services in general.
Will the City Council be able to put money back into the budget for social services at a time when the city is facing such a huge deficit?
I think personally that social services are the safety net for the people who need it the most. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm just saying that from my perspective, I think the City Council should, and I will fight very hard for social services, the absolute social net for all of our seniors and families.
Because the work that Met Council does is equal. Willie Raffogel and Merrill Tisch, yourself, and others that do so much work with Met Council and making sure that we deliver for the needs of those that can't help for themselves. It is very difficult. This is the worst year since the Great Depression these past 2 years. So it's been very, very difficult with $9.5 billion. I'm going to be fighting to get that money in there for Met Council. I'll be fighting to get money for services for our mayor here in the city of New York.
We're focused on a couple different areas. We're trying to make sure that the mayor and the city council are hearing loud and clear. We can't cut back on our commitment to children. So it starts with the Priority 7 vouchers for child care vouchers for large families and the child care centers. It starts with saving preventative services that actually stop child abuse before it happens. That's where some of our first focus has been. And I think, like every other situation, it's a matter of priority. I argue that those services, in the case of the preventative services, it's about saving kids' lives. In the case of the child care vouchers and child care centers, it's about building our future. There's simply higher priorities than other things in the budget, so they have to be saved. Even with cuts from all they have to be saved. With the senior centers, look, the mayor's plan is, as usual, is, I think, overreaching. I don't think all the intention behind it is bad, but it's overreaching. There's some large centers that would be lost. There are some centers that are concentrated in the same areas that would be lost. You know, I'm hoping that through this budget fight, that plan gets greatly reduced, and it's about organizing seniors to make their voices heard, which is what we're working on.
During this budget crisis, you must be very concerned about your constituents for services for immigrants, services for English language programs, services for the poor. Do you feel we'll be able to put any kind of money back into the budget to be able to carry out those services at anything close to past levels?
Adam, thank you for your question. It's a very important question these days for me, and I'm very happy to report that we were able to restore about $500,000 for the refugee resettlement program, at least for that one. And we're working on some other programs, and I hope that we'll be able to restore some money with some cuts that the governor was proposing.
What was the most optimistic thing you heard today from the elected officials who spoke?
I think both what they said publicly and what they said privately to me is they don't believe that either the city, the state, or the federal government can afford for Met Council to take major cuts, because the thousands of clients we serve need to continue to be served, especially during this difficult time. After all, fundamentally, we need to be there to help make people independent, and once there are those who can't be made independent because they're too elderly, too frail, children, or they're disabled, we're there to help them improve their quality of life. And that's why these officials want to make sure to support us.
Thank you very much. We'll wrap up. Congratulations on the successful.
Thank you.